All right, welcome to another day of NoFap. We're out in the woods on a walk. It's about 6 a.m. right now, and I've done some meditation this morning. It's been a great morning so far. And I didn't really post last week onto this channel, and I've been quite conflicted with it in terms of all this NoFap stuff. Not that I questioned the path at all, really. It's just that I kind of reframed it. So let me explain. Basically, I've realized that for myself, no fap in and of itself has never really been the goal, like to not jack off or not watch porn and stuff. It's always been about getting the ability to resist sexual urges. And let me explain the difference to you. So basically, no fap is all about decreasing the likelihood that you jack off or that you goon, for example. And resisting sexual urges is about getting urges and resisting them. So basically for NoFap, for not jacking off, like basically the big difference is that you will try to set up your environment in a way to minimize the amount of urges that you get if you want to succeed on NoFap. And that's what I've been talking about on this channel for a long time now. To not spend as much time at inside, to spend more time with people, to schedule your day in a way that decreases the likelihood that you fap, that minimizes free time and so on. And you obviously stay off like fucking social media and don't watch softcore porn or any things like that that will give you triggers or something like that. But lately I've been thinking like, if we like, you will get urges at some point. You will get some sexual thoughts, some sexual fantasies, some visualizations at some point in your life. You might, for example, get successful in the future, and you will maybe be at some social event and there'll be some girls there and you'll have to resist them not to get into some sort of fucking unwanted pregnancy or any of that bullshit. You don't want to indulge in that kind of like degenerate scene or any of that. And then maybe you're by yourself in bed and you've done everything you can to minimize the amount of urges that you get, the amount of temptations, the amount of visualizations, the amount of sexual desires that you have, but you still might get them at some point. And you probably fucking will, no matter how much you try to minimize the urges and set up your environment in a way to do that. And so if we have the ability to resist the urges when they come, nothing else matters. Like if we have willpower, nothing else matters. If we have the ability to say no to our desires, if we have the ability to feel something, to feel like jacking off, to feel like fucking, to feel like indulging in porn or whatever, but we can do it, that is literally the only thing that matters. And in my opinion, it is the only thing that matters, full stop. Because if you do optimize for setting up your environment in a way that will minimize the amount of urges that you get, that to me that's kind of like running away from the urges. It's kind of like escaping from them. It's like bitching out. It's like being afraid of them. I'm not afraid of no fucking urges. Bring that shit on, you know? I don't think it's about running away from that shit at all. I think it's about facing them. I think it's about feeling the intense craving to indulge, but not do it anyway. To be able to use your conscious human brain to overlook that and to be like, yeah, I feel this way. I don't have to act this way. I think that's the way to do it. I don't think it's about escaping the desires, escaping the feelings. I don't think that's the way to do it at all. In fact, I think it's kind of like the opposite way around. I think welcoming the urges is the way to do it. I think that kind of almost like enticing them to come and maybe like listening to some music that you know is going to give you like sexual thoughts and stuff. Maybe that's the way. I'm not too sure. I don't really like fucking modern music anyway. I just don't like it, like modern rap and stuff. I don't like the idea of some, guy singing about fucking some girls and I'm like tuning into that shit. It just sounds gay to me. But you probably get the point, right? I don't think escaping the urges and running away from them is the way to do it. I think facing them and then overcoming them is the way to do it. So yeah, man, it's interesting because this belief shift that I've had, it kind of flips everything that I've ever thought about NoFap and stuff, all the stuff that I've ever taught on this channel and my beliefs and thoughts and, opinions and feelings so far is really interesting, man, for sure. Yeah, bro. So basically with this new theory or belief of mine, whatever you want to call it, I think that there are only really two things that we can do to basically increase the likelihood that we do not indulge in jacking off or porn, whatever we crave, when we get the sexual desire, right? And so they are like, fundamentally, we need to make it more rewarding to not do it and less rewarding to do it, and more punishing to do it and less punishing to not do it. That's it. That's all we can do. And so basically, we have to make it more painful to do it than to not do it. If that is not true, you will jack off, like full stop. If you perceive there to be a greater reward by doing an action, by taking an action, as compared to another, as compared to not taking it, it is in my belief that you will do it, right? Like, I think that's the way humans are wired. I believe that we will do what we have been reinforced for doing in the past, and so on. And so my favorite way of making it more painful, and like more painful to, like, you know, fap or jack off or indulge in that kind of stuff, and less painful to not do it, and the other way around, vice versa, you get my point, is to have accountability. So let me explain to you let me tell you my little NoFap story. So I discovered, actually, let me take you back all the way to the very beginning. So I remember I was like maybe 8, 9 years old. I was in like 3rd grade, maybe like 9 years old. And it must have been like in 2015, 2016. And maybe like 2016. I'm born in 07, so yeah, something like that. And I was in 3rd grade, and me and the boys were talking, and there had been this music video that had like gone viral maybe a couple years back, and that we kind of discovered. It was Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. You might be familiar with that one, right? If you're not, it's kind of like Nicki Minaj, like the fucking black American female rapper, like the fucking whore, basically. She made like a music video with her and a bunch of her like fucking like a bunch of other girls like twerking and that kind of stuff, like shaking their asses and shit. And I remember that was kind of like my first experience with gooning or watching sexual stuff and those kinds of desires in general. And all of us boys, we were just like talking about this stuff. Have you seen Anaconda? Go to youtube.com, youtube.com, and search Anaconda. So that was funny as fuck. And that was kind of like my first introduction to this entire sexual world. And then I think it was I don't think I was jacking off at that point, because I didn't really know that was the thing. But then in 4th grade, like a year later, when I was 10 years old, that was when I watched like my first bit of porn and stuff. It was actually like with a friend, and we just thought that it was like a cool thing, like a fun thing as like a 10-year-old. And because as like a young kid, you're not aware of these kinds of things. Obviously, you're not aware of the fucking subversion that has been brought upon mankind by the fucking porn companies and the social media companies and all these bullshit modern day things. You just see something that stimulates you, and you feel that it's cool or fun or whatever, and you're rewarded for doing certain things, and you're gonna keep doing them, you know. And so I remember watching porn for the first time when I was 10, and that was when I kind of learned about the concept of jacking off as well. And so I started doing that at like 10 years old, and then for like 5 years I did that, until when I was about 15. I turned 15 in October 2022. So yeah, exactly. And I remember it was not November at that point, like basically straight after my birthday. And at the time, a bunch of like male influencers had popped off, like Andrew Tate and David Goggins and these kinds of guys, and Hamza and that. And I looked up to them a lot. I still do. I love the masculinity sphere and stuff. It changed my life forever. And I kind of went into this disciplined mode when I was like, yeah, let me work out a lot. Let me stop being fucking gay and hanging out with these bitch ass people. Let me start boxing. Let me start trying to make some side hustle income online and stuff. And I got into that kind of sphere and phase of my life. And so when I heard about No Not November, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. It's gay as fuck to jack off. It's like when you're watching porn, you're literally watching another guy fuck the girl you want to fuck, which is such a beta male activity. It's disgusting, honestly, and it just makes you have like a fucked up view of women and sex and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. I should do No Nut November, and I should keep doing it afterwards as well. I should just keep on going. But as you might have expected, I was on the 5th day, I think it was the 5th of November, if I'm not mistaken. I was on a family vacation in Barcelona, and my brother was doing like a bunch of guitar at the time, guitar lessons and guitar, not concerts, but like he would do some of that kind of stuff. He would play in front of people and not get paid, but like, yeah, just like a hobby sport kind of thing. And he would take lessons. And he was at like a guitar training camp in Barcelona with his guitar teacher. I also did guitar like with him for 5 years as well, from like 9 to 14. So I obviously knew about the kind of stuff he was doing, and he was with our coach and some other guys as well. And that was cool. And so me and my mom also went there to Barcelona to we went on like a bit of a separate vacation because my brother was like doing his own thing with the guitar guys and living in like in a specific villa with the other guys and stuff. So that was cool. But yeah, I remember us checking into the hotel, and I think it was the 5th of November during fall break, and I was on the bed in our hotel room, and I was just having mad urges, you know. I remember thinking about this specific girl from my school and stuff. I just gone into puberty, and my testosterone was firing at all cylinders in my body and stuff. And yeah, all the sort of conscious thoughts of not jacking off, they went out of the window, and I started like basically like fucking stroking my cock on the bed, I think. And then I went into the toilet, if I'm not mistaken, and fully busted a nut. And yeah, I was disgusted with myself afterwards, of course. And that was kind of the start of my NoFap journey. Before that, I wouldn't say that I was on NoFap because I was just jacking off. I didn't know that I probably shouldn't be doing this thing and stuff. And so I remember how fucking disgusting I felt at that time. And yeah, I kind of just kept on doing that, like relapsing like multiple times a week for about 2.5 years. So from about November 2022 to like, I think it was about April, like May last year, 2025. I just fucking, yeah, I just relapsed. And the worst thing was that I kept it hidden, and I lied on a few occasions to like my best closest friends, which I'm ashamed to this day. Of course, it was a very like treacherous thing to do, of course. You can't do that. But yeah, I was just too embarrassed to admit it to my best friends and stuff. And bear in mind that these two guys, like my big brother and like our best friend, I know like my big brother is 2 years older than me, and like our best friend is at my age. We went to like the same, we were in the same class from like in 4th and 5th grade. And then we also just hung out, fucked enough to that as well. And he's on self-improvement, like all of us are locked in and that kind of stuff. Yeah, man. So bear in mind that when you're on self-improvement and you want to better yourself and you are ambitious and you're not just like a moron like all these motherfuckers are, you know, like all like guys my age and maybe your age as well. Like it's a way like more significant thing, I think, to sort of keep those kinds of things hidden and like lie to your friends about that kind of stuff if your friends are like that, because they weren't just any friends, you know. I had 2 friends for like, I have a few more now. I have like maybe like 2 more guys that are at least like semi productive or semi ambitious in my sort of circle that I like to spend time with. But those 2 guys, I had like 2 friends in the entire world basically. And yeah, like if those 2 would have been some random retards that I for some reason called friends that were from my school but didn't actually like have the same values as me or anything like that, and then it would have been obviously still bad to like lie about that shit. But I think what I did specifically, bearing in mind the fact that the two friends that I had, like, we were so fucking close, and I think it was really fucking bad of me to do that. And yeah, I'm really ashamed of what I did. But yeah, man, and it was super difficult to just tell them, because I was kind of like accumulating all this shame, and it was kind of like the more I jacked off, the worse I felt for doing it, but then also for the fact that I had, lied to my friends about it and kept it hidden. And yeah, it was actually quite difficult to deal with. And I knew that I would tell them at some point, but I was like, yeah, let me just stop doing it and then I'll tell them. But I always kind of like had this thought in my mind that I wouldn't really be able to quit unless I told them first, which I knew would be so fucking difficult. But what I'm really proud to say is that I got this, like, I don't know if it was God who sent me the vision or whatever. Like, I just had this intuition one day when I woke up that, like, I have to tell them, bro. Like, I have to fucking tell them. And I was like, yeah, this is enough. This has gone on for way too long. I need to fucking tell my friends about this. And yeah, bro, I messaged them both. I sat them down with them in front of me and stuff, and I was like, guys, I need to tell you about something that I'm really ashamed of. Can you, like, link up and stuff? And they were like, sure. But yeah, it was so difficult. It was so painful, and, like, by far the hardest thing I've ever done was to open up to my friends about the fact that not just that I had jacked off for so much longer than they thought, but also that I'd lied to them about it. So yeah, it was I'm really grateful for the experience, but of course it was really treacherous behavior. It was the whole thing was fucked up. So yeah, but yeah, man, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, and I'm really proud of the version of me that did it. And yeah, I honestly wouldn't know where I'd be if I hadn't told them, only God knows. But yeah, this shit gets kind of deeper, but and it wasn't all smiley when I did it. Like, I rarely ever cry, but I was, like, on the brink of fucking shedding. Like, I was shedding a bit of tears and stuff when I told them, and I was kind of whimpering it out and stuff. I was just so fucking ashamed. It took everything that I had to tell them, but I'm so proud of myself for doing it. Obviously not proud for, like, doing the actual thing that I told them about, but you get my point, right? But yeah, man. So yeah, bro. But after that point, after I got the accountability of my two closest friends, and also when I started documenting my journey on YouTube, like, I think this might be day 500 day 250 something, right? Not really sure. But when I started documenting this series, which was, like, basically straight after I did that, I think on the same day as I told them, I went out into the woods and recorded my little like the first video of this channel. Like, you can check that out if you want to, like, the oldest video. It should have been in, like, I think it was in May last year, 2025. So yeah, that's kind of like my NoFap journey, and since that point I haven't jacked off. So yeah, I was able to kind of quit cold turkey, if you want to call it that. But yeah, so basically the point of the story that I want to convey is that accountability, like, having people around me that I would be embarrassed to have to admit that I'd fapped to, was the absolute game changer for me. So not just my close friends, but also this YouTube series that I'm doing and stuff, to, like, inspire others and also keep myself accountable. I have to come to the camera, like, every fucking day. Sure, I don't think I posted, like, exactly daily since that point, but, like, I think I posted, like, 190 videos, something like that, and I'm on, like, day 250, something like that. So it's not perfectly, like, daily and stuff, but yeah, like, maybe like what is it, 4 out of 5 days or something like that. So yeah, I have to come to the camera and tell the truth, and if I jack off, I have to tell that to you and to the boys, and I really don't want to have to tell people that, and so I don't want to fucking do it, because it would be fucking embarrassing for me to do that. And I'm not saying that it will be the end of the world. I don't really believe in streaks like that. I don't think that it is the streak that is important, It's like, you don't lose all of your gains just because you missed one day from the gym, for example. And I think it's the same with NoFap. largely at least. So I think streaks are mostly like for psychological like momentum and stuff. I don't think they're that important. If like whenever I see guys that are like obsessing over the fucking day that they're on, it's a bit cringe to me, and that might seem hypocritical because I'm counting my days or whatever you want to call it on this channel, but it's kind of like it just happens naturally because I make this fucking series, and so I just add a number every like on every video. It's not that deep. It's not like I'm fucking walking around life obsessing over the fucking day I'm on. It's not like that, and that's not the point that I want you to get to either. But yeah, man, I think having accountability is probably the best thing for resisting sexual urges. And you just have this thing in the back of your mind that like you're going to have to repent, or basically you're going to have to answer for your sins or whatever you want to call it. If you have that shit in the back of your mind when you're about to do it, like it will increase the likelihood that you resist, because there's a greater perceived reward for resisting and a greater perceived punishment for doing it. So yeah, that's why I think accountability is fucking amazing. It's been the absolute game changer for me, and I really want to bring that to the NoFap culture and stuff. I haven't read the Easy Peasy Method, but I've heard from a lot of guys that it's like a popular book in the space. I might read that and see what that guy's saying. But in terms of like the guys that I've seen on NoFap, I'm like maybe like, I don't know if Jack Piggott, he's not really active anymore, but like the guys that I've seen talk about NoFap, most of them don't talk about accountability. They all talk about like identity and fucking setting up your environment, or like not being on your phone as much. I don't think it's about any of that. You should be strong enough to resist the urges no matter what the fucking environment is. You should never be like, yeah, I will let the environment impose its will upon me. You know, fuck that shit, you know? Fuck your environment. Fuck the things around you. You should have it in yourself, you know? You should have it in here. In your fucking mind and in your heart, bro, in your soul. You shouldn't care at all what the fuck's around you. You should be able to resist all of it, you know? Because of who the fuck you are, you know? You need to remember who you are, bro. A light in the fucking mist. Remember that shit. So yeah, bro. And those are my thoughts this morning. And basically what I've done since I had this realization is that I just want to give as much accountability to like people that I can, that are in my audience and stuff, that want to make progress on this journey and stuff. So I've made like a free community, or whatever you want to call it, with like a free 3-hour course and stuff. But honestly, I wouldn't even recommend watching the course inside the community, because I'm going to remake it soon and stuff. I think the number one thing that I can provide in the community is accountability to the members. And so if you want basically me to hold you accountable, and right now I'm doing it for free because I want to get experience as a coach, and I want to like get results with the people that I work with and stuff. And so yeah, I do it for free at the moment at least, and I'll plan on doing that for maybe, we'll see how long I do for free, but maybe like a couple of months. We'll see. It depends on how well everything goes, and how many people want it and stuff. We'll see. But right now I'm doing it for free, and if you basically want me to personally hold you accountable on this journey, if you think that, for example, us speaking on a daily basis, like not face to face, but like on like calls and stuff, if you think that would be helpful for your NoFap journey, which it was for me, like this social accountability stuff, then you can join the free community and shoot me a message, or I'll probably shoot you a message if you join and stuff. So it will get to work. So yeah, bro, if you want to be like basically my number one case study, my number one testimonial, my number one success story, if you want to go from jacking off all the time, or however much you're jacking off, to like not jacking off at all, and you basically want me to help you for free, then you can check that out. I'd be more than happy to do that. And yeah, bro, hopefully I see you inside. You can check it out in the link in the description. It's completely free, as I said. So if you like, I would strongly fucking recommend you to take action, bro. Like, especially if you've struggled with this kind of stuff for a long time, and you don't really have people in your life that you can tell you know, your struggles about. It's, you know, it's way fucking easy when you have people around you that actually like make you act in the way that you want to act, you know, because you basically use the human biology against itself. which I think that we should do that if we can, because if we can control our own like monkey desires like deep within us, that will be extremely powerful because they are so biologically like wired in us. So yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Like honestly, just if you watch through this entire video, like 25 minutes and stuff, you clearly want to make progress in this area. So you may as well fucking join the community and stuff. And there's no pressure at all, but like just fucking do it. If you like, if I could tell my younger self to get like if I want to tell my younger self what to do to stop fapping, like literally just join a place with people that are on this path that will hold you accountable, and then like fucking, you know, go in that space and be more in that space and sort of just get this mindset into you and hold each other accountable, like that kind of like sphere. If I could get my younger self into that, where there were a bunch of people around him that held him accountable, and maybe something as personal as like one-on-one stuff, like with a guy that, you know, has had some level of success on this journey, you know, that would be fucking amazing for my younger self. So if you want to take action on that, then you can do that below, and hopefully I will see you inside, bro.